Hello everyone, welcome to Wednesday's live stream. Hopefully everyone has been having a good day. In today's puzzle, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of, a little bit of, maybe not a couple of seconds, but a minute or two to think about the answer of this puzzle. All I'm gonna say is this queen is off. There's something wrong with that queen. It's in the middle, it doesn't have many squares to go to. So what does that make you think? I'll be monitoring the streams. It doesn't have many squares. There we go. I think everything is right. You guys can watch the stream from YouTube or from Twitch, whatever you prefer. That's... Goodness gracious, Goodness gracious, YouTube is so... Okay, I'm lagging. It's my fault either way. There we go. Okay, we're experiencing some connection issues. But hopefully we'll be back. I think we're back already, yeah. Okay. So the answer of this, I believe, which I'm actually not sure, but let's get going with this. The queen is clearly off. Clearly off. So there's something wrong with the queen, and there are a couple of ways you can try to trap it. Bishop f6 and knight c6. Bishop f6 fails to queen b8, and things get complicated. Maybe you can calculate that further, but you shouldn't do that. That's a bad habit when calculating. You should calculate wide rather than deep, as Chess Dojo once said in a YouTube video. This is where I took it from, at least. I'm quite sure someone else said it before them. But knight c6 was my other move, because if I could prevent queen b8, well, then nice. Like, I make my life a little bit easier. So knight c6, I realized quickly that there's no move for the queen to save itself. So the queen has to save itself indirectly. What does that mean? One has to recur to tactics around or something else, right? And that something else is knight takes f5. Then I thought, well, maybe we can get rid of the knight first and then go knight c6, but that runs into another problem. Bishop takes g3. White is going to take with the rook, very important, because after knight c6, the queen can now escape. So that's not it either. And then I thought, well, okay, knight c6, I'm going to embrace knight takes f5. I wanted to avoid it, but it's unavoidable, or I have to embrace it. So knight takes f5, knight takes e5, knight takes e7, everything is forced so far. And then I was calculating knight takes d3, knight takes g6, things get complicated. But then I saw a move that made things easy. Knight c6, knight f5, knight e5, knight e7, bishop d3, check. So you guys know now why I was so kind of attracted to this move, and that is because it's check. I'm taking a bishop with check, and if king g1, then I take this with check, then I can go knight g4, take this, and the e7 knight is now hanging. When in these sequences, when I'm gonna input these moves, and okay, white goes for a queen sacrifice, which is probably the engine's preference, but this is winning. And that's the end of it. Correct. So knight takes f5, the only way to win is knight takes e5, although bishop takes e5 also gives black an advantage. Knight takes e7 and then bishop takes e3 is the only way. So pretty happily, I found this. We found it. Knight g4 is, I mean, there are other ways of winning. Knight c4 wins, but knight g4 is the absolute best. And what I was going to say is, the important thing is that we got rid of this bishop. We moved this bishop away from the potential knight takes e6. Why? Because now the knight is hanging every time. And usually when you get these sequences where one takes something and then the other one takes, and it's kind of take, who's winning at the end? Well, you very often in these sequences, you just have to identify which piece is going to be left off and identify how that piece escapes. In this case, maybe it's easier to explain this by showing a line. After something like knight takes e3, this knight is doing two things after knight takes g6. It's saving itself and it's taking a piece at the same time. So you should be attracted at moving this bishop automatically. That's what I'm trying to say. You should create that habit somehow. Hello, Viking. I'm having a good day. What about you? So, first and foremost, I apologize for the great delay. I was supposed to start streaming an hour ago, but I got delayed in my whole day. I got delayed actually. But okay, let's get going with puzzles. We're gonna do puzzles today. I believe the title is 2800 plus. Although it maybe I should change it to 2900 plus, but okay. Maybe I do that afterwards. So I'm gonna click puzzles. Let's just make sure we're not. Force online check. There we are. Interesting that Twitch shows up. Let's watch our on stream. Let's just make sure we're okay. YouTube used to show up rather than Twitch. Wow, interesting. YouTube used to be first rather than Twitch. Okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. So we're now streaming, potentially? Or not? Why doesn't it show up? Maybe it's confused. Okay. Well, if we can't get this going, maybe they finally kicked me out. Nice. How was that tournament you were talking about? It was a long time ago. I think it was a week ago or two. Rapid Games, I believe. What am I doing here? So I'm reloading this, but it doesn't show up as if I'm streaming. Despite me refreshing. No! I refreshed the wrong tab. No, I'm creating an infinity mirror. Okay, what am I doing? Let's refresh this. It's important to get this going because then we're not reaching as many people as I would like to. Maybe I should change the order of these. Ah, wow, you can make participate in the chat here. Okay, yeah, I expected it. Sorry guys, I'm not messing around. I'm just trying to get the streamer. We don't show up here, do we? Ooh. I'll force online check. Maybe I should edit this. Ah, I see. So I'm connected with both Twitch and YouTube. The Lichess streamer page targets your audience with the language provided by your streaming platform. Ah, maybe I know what it is. I forgot to put Lichess. I'm a genius. Yeah, sorry about this. I forgot to put Lichess. Sorry, leeches. My fault. Okay, there we go. Let's see if the little thing works now. Ah, wow. Completely my fault. Okay, that out of the way. Let's refresh this and we should be able to go. So 10 minutes in, one puzzle in, or one puzzle later, we're ready to go. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna start claiming or kind of stating the rating we're currently at. So the difficulty level is normal and our rating is 2845. So we have got this position. It's white to play and win, and I'll be solving this. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free to make comments about this. We're postponing the blitz for now because I found myself a little bit addicted to it. So we're doing puzzles. Okay, so one of the first things that I notice is this bishop is a little trapped. So I'm trying f3. I'm trying f3, that's one of my Kendra moves. h4 is another one of my Kendra moves. Queen d6 is a Kendra move, which is kind of threatening queen e6, I guess, but also stopping queen c7, although not stopping queen c8. And yeah, that's enough. So f3, bishop f3. I kind of achieved nothing. So I'm gonna move on. I don't see any ideas there. Cheetah? Who is this? Queen of Fate. It's another Kendra move I didn't mention. Yeah, Queen of Fate, I guess, followed by h4. Queen of Fate, King g6, bishop e8 is an idea. King h7, bishop f7, resignable. So we would be winning there, but of course King g6 is not forced, first of all. Second of all, black can play maybe something like queen c7. So queen c7, then we would go, what, like h4? h4, if king g4, we could play... We have to be careful because even though this king does look like it's gonna get checkmated, we can check, it can come closer to us and we can get checkmated ourselves. So for example, in that line, queen c7, h4, king g4, bishop e2, bishop f3. Takes, and then we're getting mated ourselves, I think. Okay, maybe it is something like a quiet move, like bishop e2, threatening f3. And why, like even if I get two moves in a row, let's say bishop e2 and f3, bishop c2 only move. And I guess, yeah, I guess even then, even if I get two moves in a row, which would be extraordinary, we're not doing anything, so that doesn't seem like the answer. Sorry. Wow, this is tough. Okay, give me a second here. I'm just gonna think for a long time. Yeah. Thanks, Viking. We're actually down a pawn, which I should have mentioned. Yet we're winning. This is one of those cases where in a real game you would be... Well, at least I wouldn't be expecting to be completely winning. Okay, so h4 now it's starting to... I like h4 a little bit more now. Why? Okay, so let's start with because of those queen of 8 ideas. So for example, h4, king g6, queen of 8, bishop e8 is the idea, followed by what we had already talked about. And yeah, it looks good. But like there's also f4, h4 and f4. So f4, black has 4 options against h4 and f4. Black has 4 options. And let's take a look at every single one of them, as painful as that sounds. So h4, king f6, queen f8, queen f7, queen d8, queen e7. I don't see anything, and with the pawn on f4, nothing seems to change. What about bishop e8 as a first move? Preparing h4 and f4, because against king f6, now there's always queen f8. And it's just gonna be losing. So bishop e8 maybe, because if queen c8, queen e7 also. And it's game over. Because if, well, there's only one move, funnily enough, given that these two pieces are occupying all of these squares, which is king g4, and then, I don't know, there must be a mate there. There it is. Queen h4, king f3, bishop h5, mate. Just before black escapes. So that's a nice mate. But of course, black is not going to play queen c8. They're going to play queen c7. So after bishop e8, queen c7. What about h4 now? So the inclusion of bishop e8 prevents king f6 because there's queen f8. And it's mate. After queen f7 and queen takes f7. Twitch a bit laggy. Oh no. Hello Harbelli, it's 2600. That's why I actually stopped playing, because I think that's where I wanted to be before. Before moving on to the next thing, which is puzzles. So bishop e8 may be the winning move. But after queen c7, we still have to find the punch. So h4 we've been calculating. Now we've also got rid of 2 of the options that we thought black had, which was king g6 and king h5. So it's forced to go king g4. King f6 we already talked about. Queen f8 is made. So bishop e8, queen c7, h4, king g4. And there, once again, we can interchange h4 with f4 because they're very similar. The position allows us to do that. I think it's the same. With the pawn on h4, that's not possible. Queen h4 is not possible. It's the same mate. I don't know, what am I saying? Sorry. The queen is not on e7. I thought the queen was already on e7, which meant that queen h4, bishop h5 ideas were still there. But that's not the case. Bishop e8, queen c7, our queen is on b4. And we have to work out a way of not only stopping queen c1, but also mating our opponent. Which sounds pretty impossible, to be honest. I think it's going to be something along the lines of h4 to force black's king to g4. If we move the queen over here first, then king f6 is always going to be working. So bishop e8, queen c7, h4, king g4, queen e1. We're both stopping queen c1 and also threatening queen e2. Which takes me to the next question, which is, are we actually threatening queen e2? Because there's bishop f3. And I think we are. But once again, it could be h4, it could be f4. With the pawn on f4 rather than the h pawn, queen e2 would be a threat because there would be queen e2, but at the same time, like, sorry, h3, queen e2, bishop f3, h3. But at the same time, the pawn on f4, with the pawn on f4, there's queen c2, threatening mate on g2, also stopping white from giving a check on d1 or e2, which, yeah, I think I'm although there's queen f1. There's queen f1. What is that threatening? Yeah, nothing. I'm afraid nothing. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so far we found out that moving one of these pawns, king f6, queen f8, queen f7 is the end of that line. It doesn't work. And h4, king f6, bishop e8 in this move order runs into queen e7. So that does not work either. So bishop e8 right away we're calculating. By the way, queen c7 seems like the most principled reply, but we should maybe clear up the rubbish around all of these variations and make sure that we are calculating something worth calculating. So bishop e8, g6. And yeah, I can still go h4. The point of g6 is to allow king h5, I guess. But that looks horrible. That looks like it shouldn't work. I'm quite sure it doesn't. So let's say h4, king h5, once again king f6, queen f8, so king h5. If they go king g4, then why did they go g6? We can even take maybe. So king h5 seems like the logical response. And then maybe let's pause there for a second. So maybe we should go queen f8, queen g8, and that's kind of unstoppable. We could also go queen d6. So let's visualize this. Bishop e8, g6, h4, king h5, queen d6, queen c8. That's a little bit of a problem because now queen c1, queen h1 is a mating threat by our opponent, so we can't relax. So maybe not quick enough. Maybe queen f8 is the best way. Queen c8 now runs into bishop g6 check, and we're winning the queen, so they have to go queen c7. And yeah, unfortunately, that's also a little bit annoying. That's a little bit annoying because queen c1, queen h1 is once again a mating threat. So bishop e8, g6. How do we prevent this? Or how do we win against this? It's not obvious. Okay, we can maybe go down rather than up. So we go h4, king h5. And maybe we can even go back actually, bishop e5, bishop e2. But okay, let's go little by little. One of the initial ideas was queen e1, threatening queen e2. So queen e1, the only way I see black stopping that is bishop f3. And after bishop f3, I don't see anything. However, we could go f4 instead of h4, and then after bishop f3 there would be queen f2. And after bishop g4, h3, bishop h3 forced, because if bishop d1, queen f1, and we're finally winning because there's no way for the black queen to... There's no way to keep this bishop in this diagonal. So... And everything is check, by the way. Even if queen c8, queen d1 is check. Mate. So... Bishop e8, g6... f4, very important. King h5. If they go king g4, it's also queen e1 probably. So king h5, queen e1, threatening queen e2 mate. So bishop f3, and then we can go queen f1. Why queen f2? Queen f1 right away. Bishop g4 and h3. So bishop e8, g6 doesn't work because of f4. We already covered king f6, we already covered king h5. Okay, let's just cover king g4 for the sake of completeness. What am I? How do you say that? For the sake of being very complete and strict. So now, if we use our idea of queen e1 threatening queen d1 or queen e2, like let's say black plays queen c7, for instance. Queen e2, there's bishop f3 now, but there's also h3. And if king takes queen f2, king h3, we take the bishop with check and we're winning. We should be winning. So yeah, there's also queen e1, and if bishop f3 rather than making a queen move, then queen f1 regardless, because we are threatening h3, king takes g3, queen f2, king h3, queen f3. So bishop e8, g6 is out of the question. Bishop e8, like let's say queen c7. Ah no, this is actually the move we were calculating before. That's funny. Queen c8 is not possible once again because of queen e7, and it's game over. King g4, queen h4, king f3, bishop h5. So bishop e8, queen c7 seems to be the only move. Okay, before we continue with queen c7, bishop e8, bishop f3. I'm gonna have to escape to the toilet soon. Bishop e8, bishop f3. Yeah, bishop f3 may be a little bit annoying. Never mind. Okay, well, okay. Let me gather my thoughts. Bishop e8, bishop f3. I thought I had h4 with which forces king g4 once again. King f6, queen f8, king g4, and then there's queen d6. I thought with the idea of queen f4. However, it's a little bit scary because, like, imagine queen d6, queen c8. I go queen f4, king h3. Imagine I take this, and you're gonna say, well, it's a little bit unclear after. No, queen c1 is mate. I'm getting mated. So bishop e8. Sorry, bishop f3. Maybe we should go queen d6 right away. Ah, wow. No, never mind. Queen c8, I think, is the... no, queen e7, sorry. Ah, yo, queen d6, maybe. Queen a6. Ah, queen e7 again. So queen a7. So bishop e8, bishop f3, queen d6, queen a7, threatening all the nasty things in the first rank. Ah, but then we have queen d8. And that's why queen d6 is strong, because this queen is guarding e7, so we can't go to e7, but if we want to have access to this diagonal, we also have d8, which I just connected with. And actually, this is another thing I wanted to say. When you're calculating this out, like all of this puzzle out, very often you get ideas that apply to other variations, or you get ideas and then you think of these ideas and you could potentially find the answer of the puzzle through finding the ideas. So you just start calculating somewhere. I think Daniel Naroditsky said this once. You start calculating, you start somewhere, and you're just going to find things along the way and you're going to put them together. That's why it's called a puzzle. So in this case, I just found out that queen d8 is threatening queen d6 is threatening queen d8. And that's kind of a big deal. Now, queen d6 right away. I mean, first of all, queen d6, even if we get queen d8, there's king g6 and it's a little bit unclear maybe. So it makes sense to start with bishop e8. If the bishop is already on e8, our threat is actually queen d6. Look at that. Imagine coming out of this and like, there's no way anyone ever looks at this position and thinks, oh, my intuition tells me to put the bishop on e8 in this diagonal and then put the queen on d6 to threaten this. So you're threatening to threaten, because this is threatening to threaten, and the threat of this is to threaten. So you need 3 moves in a row to actually win the game. And it seems like black can't do anything. However, I was calculating the soft bishop f3, because queen d6, yeah, it is believable that now it's game over because queen d8 is pretty unstoppable. But bishop e8, there's queen c7, which is the original problem. Now we're back to this. So what I've done is I've calculated some of the lines around the principled queen c7, which is the one that I'm annoyed the most, just to give me a little bit of confidence and the sense that I'm not wasting my time. If I had seen two of the moves, like g6 and bishop f3, being equally difficult and equally impossible to solve, my intuition would tell me, okay, maybe this is actually just completely wrong. Bishop e8 is doing nothing. There are a thousand ways black can survive, so this must not be the answer, and that's another way of moving on to another candidate move. But now that bishop e8 looks promising because all of these lines seem to be working, now I'm a little bit more confident that we'll be able to find something against queen c7. So bishop e8, queen c7, back to this. So queen c7 is a strong move, not only because it threatens queen c1, but it also stops queen d6. So let's go. Once again, we can't go over here first because then king f6, that enables king f6. So we have to push a pawn first in order to lure the king down the board or up the board if you're from black's perspective. And then what do we do? So h4, king g4. Once again, f4 and h4 are both interchangeable. So if at any given point we think it would be useful to have the pawn on h2, we can change it. And actually on that note, that serves like a good segue, because after something like f4, I think I prefer f4 because after king g4 I go queen e1. And now after all of these lines with bishop f3, there's going to be h3, a very forcing move. So bishop e8, queen c7, f4, king g4 forced, only move, because if king f6, queen f8, as we're all sick of hearing by now. So king g4, queen e1, and the threat is very clear. The threat is real. Queen e2, bishop f3, h3, king takes g3, queen f2, and we're taking the bishop. So after bishop e8, queen c7, f4, king g4, queen e1, queen c2 is the only move I see that stops what we wanted to do, because if something like bishop d3, queen d1, so bishop d3 is like the worst. Like, yeah, that doesn't work. And by the way, after king h3, we're not taking the bishop, we're going queen h5. That's mate. So the best defense there is probably queen c2. Sorry, other than queen c2, I don't see anything else. That's what I was saying. If bishop f3, queen f1, followed by h3, either way. So queen c2 is the only move I see. Queen c7, queen e1, queen c2. I think we're confident. What am I doing? Bishop e8, queen c7, f4 first. Sorry. King g4, queen e1. And I'm confident that queen c2 is the only move there. Well, as confident as you can be solving a puzzle. And then queen f1. And we had seen this idea before, but it's not clear what we're threatening. So let's think here for a second. What are we threatening? It's not h3, because h3, king takes g3, and we're probably losing there. It's not bishop h5, because king takes h5, queen h3, king g6, the king escapes. It's not bishop b5, because king h5, and the king escapes. So queen c2, queen f1 doesn't seem to be working. Which is very annoying. I thought I was finding it. And if queen f1 doesn't work, by the way, we have to somehow stop queen g2 and create a threat of our own. It seems very, very difficult to do that. To find another move that does that. Queen f1 was pretty special already. So queen f1 doesn't threaten anything. What does black play though? Maybe it's like some magical Zugzwang. Nah, it's probably not. Because black can play like b5, for example. I'm close to this, but I kind of need a breaking point. I need something else. There's kind of one more thing, one more idea I need to find. Bishop e8. I would be devastated if I make a move by accident. Bishop e8, queen c7, f4, king g4. f4 and h4 is interchangeable. Maybe that's the way to think about this. Maybe that's the secret to the answer. Wait a second. Now queen d2 doesn't seem to be that secret sauce we're looking for, because there's queen c2. It's okay. Advice for Lichess 2100, 2200 for improved chess. Analyze your games. And then you're gonna say, oh, that advice is horrible. And I remember there's an interview of Alireza. They asked many strong players, what would you tell people to improve in chess? And he said the same thing: analyze your games. And people in the comments were like, "Oh, thank you, Alireza. I'm 2,700." Well, what do you expect? Like, there's nothing you can say that is going to give you like instant success. Like, no, I mean, suffer a lot. You have to suffer a lot. That's my advice. Suffer a lot. Okay. Now, analyze your games. Play online. Play rapid games. But if you don't have time for that, as most people do, as it's the case with most people, because most people are super busy with jobs or school or something. And if you only have time for blitz, then yeah, sure, fine. Play blitz and analyze the opening. That's pretty useful. Do tons of tactics, because chess, the more I play chess in my life, the more I realize that it's, yeah, tactics. It's, people are making mistakes, and you need to notice these mistakes and capitalize on blunders. So not only you stop yourself from blundering, but also make the most of your, actually realize that your opponent is blundering. Okay, all of that is very general. Like, take a look at your openings, think, oh, is this opening suiting me? And have a good relationship with chess. Like, do as much as you want, because then you can burn yourself easily. Burn out. Reach your burnout if you're doing too much of it, etc. I need to go to the toilet, but I'll be thinking about this. I'll be back in a minute. Wow. Completely demolished all the setup here. No prob. No problem. Thanks for your patience. Okay. Actually, I think I found it. Bishop e8. It looks extremely suspicious to come back from off camera and say, oh, I think I found it. I promise I didn't cheat. Why would I cheat on a puzzle? Okay, now I got nervous because I'm talking about cheating, but okay. I don't even know if I found it, by the way. Bishop e8, queen c7. I actually thought, well, okay, I think they're interchangeable. I think I've been trying to make f4 work, but f4 weakens the king a little bit too much. So I think it's h4, king g4, queen e1. So now the difference is that after queen c2, queen f1, we actually do have a threat. And that threat is something along the lines of there are some mates where white actually exchanges queens, by the way. So give me a second. Let me gather my thoughts once again. Okay, wait a second. Bishop e8, queen c7. Sorry, bishop e8, queen c7, f4. Let's go back to f4, king g4, queen d2, threatening it in this way to force queen c2. Take. And we're so close there. We just need king g2 and h3. And that would be mate. But king g2, bishop e4 is the problem. If it wasn't because of bishop e4, it would be winning. So is there any other way? King g2 would be completely winning. Yeah, it's so frustrating, actually. So maybe, once again, not the... Ah, okay. We go h4. Bishop e8. Queen c7. h4, king g4. Queen d2. What is that threatening? Yeah, it's not threatening anything, I'm afraid. It's just difficult because as soon as we go h4, we lose the chance of going... Like, h3 is no longer working in many lines. So, for example, queen d2, black can... I don't know, black can... Like, queen a6. And queen d1, bishop f3 is always a... Always a counter. Because our pawn is already on h4, I remind you. So, bishop e8. And you're to say, David, this is... Don't you think this is obsessive? Like, you're thinking about this position for already like 40 minutes? Well, I'm curious. I don't know. I also have created the habit. Like, it definitely felt obsessive at first, but I'm too curious. I want to find. I think... Don't take this advice very... Like, take what I'm saying right now very, very carefully, because I think it does get damaging at some point. I'm in no position to give advice in terms of puzzles, I think. I think I take way too long. And I get in time trouble very often, so maybe that reflects on me. But either way, sorry. Go back to this. Bishop e8. Queen c7 is very annoying because it's creating this queen c2, queen c1 threat. And it's very difficult to find something against this. And I think we are in the right track. We should give a check to force the king up and continue creating threats. But I'm not sure which one. I'm not even sure if this is the right way. Maybe the bishop e8 is wrong as a whole. Will we ever know? Will this stream be only this puzzle? Even if it is only this puzzle, I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to take the remaining 10 to 15 minutes to solve this, because I already spent so long trying to solve this. I might as well completely solve it. Bishop e8, queen c7, h4, king g4. Okay, let's try to make f4 work again. f4, king g4. There has to be something there. I just can't find it. Queen e1, queen c2. Queen f1 is threatening nothing. We already established that. So queen d2, other than queen e1 and queen d2, I don't see anything. h3. King takes h3. Maybe. Oh, wow, okay. That makes sense. Bishop e8. No. Maybe, yeah. Bishop e8, queen c7. h3. Threatening f4. But now we have... I'm blundering, mate. What am I doing? Queen c1 and queen h1. But okay, I mean... maybe some ideas over there. Bishop 8, queen c7. That's very annoying. Maybe it's just queen f8, by the way. Because now that I think about it, I'm threatening h4. King g4. Because king g6, bishop e8. And this, the one of the first things that we said, actually, queen f8. Let's say queen c7 again. And then h4, king g4. And now the bishop is still in this diagonal. What about pawn push? Well, we tried this, h4, let's say king f6. That's the problem. Queen f8, queen c7. F3, wow. Okay, I know from experience, Viking, that every time you suggest something when I'm solving puzzles, it may be the answer. So you may just have given me the answer. F3. So bishop f3, and we're just acting like this is... and we're just acting like this is, like, wow. Okay, f3, bishop f3. How is this working? Bishop e8. Oh, there's also queen f8. f4, king g4, h3, king... I know, f4, king f6. Sorry, f4, king f6. It maybe actually is something like f3, bishop takes f3, queen d6. That's threatening two things. That's threatening queen f4 and queen takes f3, where we would be winning a piece. And threatening queen takes e6. However, there's still king f6. But we do have queen e5 this time. Sorry, bishop e8. So f3, bishop f3, queen d6 with tempo. Maybe that's actually the purpose of f3, to get queen d6 with tempo. If you go queen d6 right away, after... oh, wait a second, queen d6 right away. No, there's... oh, maybe it's queen d6 right away. Because queen c8, there's queen e7. Maybe it's queen d6. Just simple. I mean, there's not much simple about that. Maybe it's king g6 the problem. We go queen e6, king h7, bishop e8, follow like threatening bishop g6 and queen e8, which means that black has to step back to the 8th rank. Queen e8, a8, bishop g6, king h8. Yeah, that seems difficult. But okay, that's definitely a breakthrough. Queen d6. So that's threatening h4. Or like we could argue just bishop e6, because now we stop queen c7. And queen c8 is running into queen e7. But then there's king g6, what am I saying? Bishop e8, king h7. Queen d6, queen c8 is the problem then. So that's why f3. Bishop takes and queen d6, queen c8, there's queen f4. So that's what makes f3 strong. I think it's f3. I've been like almost 50 minutes, I think. Okay, no, that's not true. I started like at around minute 11 of this stream. So yeah. Actually, yeah, probably 50 minutes or approximately. I'm a little bit obsessive. Not good. I mean, I don't mind it, but I don't think it's healthy. Because I could have learned a lot about, I don't know, 3 more puzzles. So in terms of time learning ratio, it's not the most intelligent thing to do. But okay, f3, I mean, f3 is pretty insane. Because I think now I'm realizing f3, bishop f3, queen d6, you're threatening queen f4 and queen f3, so let's say bishop e4. And now you go, I think you can go bishop e8. But maybe even queen e6 is working right away. Threatening, like for example, if queen c7, which is always a problem, it seems. We go... Yeah, maybe just bishop e2. Queen c1, there's king f2. And there's h4. So let's go f3. It's gonna be devastating if this is wrong, but okay, I'm willing to learn. Okay, it is f3. Credit to Viking for guiding me towards this direction. Bishop takes f3 and now queen d6. That's my idea. I'm scared. King f6. What was our idea against king f6? Queen e5, I think. Oh yeah, I don't know. Actually, it was bishop e8 maybe. Wow. Queen d6, I just realized there's king f6, which I didn't calculate at all. Queen d6, king f6. Bishop e8, queen e7. Queen e5, that's working. Queen d6, king f6, bishop e8. Bishop e4. Queen e5 either way, because king e7, queen takes g7, and we're winning the queen. Queen d6. King f6, bishop e8. That's threatening queen e5. So let's say queen a6, getting out of the 7th rank, or queen a8. But then, oh yeah, as soon as you do that, then queen f8, queen takes g7, and that's winning. So I think it's queen d6. Queen c8. And I think we just take the bishop. Wow. Okay, there are tons of questions I have. Queen d6. What if bishop e4? Is it just queen e6? Queen e6 is the only way. Everything else is equal. So queen takes c6 is a must. Why not bishop e8? What even is bishop e8 threatening, by the way? I forgot. I think it's 8. I thought it was h4. But actually, yeah. It makes sense that it's queen e6. It felt like more natural. You're taking a pawn and you're also kind of invading. And you're keeping this bishop for e2. So now this king is no longer escaping towards here. So you don't need any bishop e8 stuff. The bishop can do that from e2 now. Yeah. Okay, this was a nice last. So h4, we saw this idea. So this bishop on e2 is ideal. Not only taking away these two squares on top of the queen's work, but also defending the white king and also threatening h4 mate. What was another question? King f6, bishop e8, right? Yeah. Bishop d7 also, of course. I wasn't seeing bishop d7. King g6, queen e6, king h7. Queen f5. Okay, sorry. I was seeing this position with bishop e4, I guess. Yeah. For some reason, I thought that I had to go bishop e8, but it's queen f5 and we're winning the bishop. What is the line on f3? Queen d6, king f6. Bishop. I thought of bishop e8, which also wins. And my idea was after queen e7, we have queen e5. I'm going to remove the engine because it makes everything chaotic. So bishop e8 threatens, like if it was white to play again, if black plays bishop e4, let's say, just taking out the bishop from the weak f3 square, we go queen e5, and then we exploit the weak b7 queen. And if the king comes over here, we go... I think h4, king h... Yeah, okay. Yeah, h4, king... This should work. And then bishop f1. Yeah, bishop g2 resists for a little longer, but... This is made in 12, according to the engine. After queen f2, yeah, of course. So... Bishop e8 is very strong. It's threatening queen e5, and if you move the queen away, then... As soon as this queen stops protecting g7, then queen f8, queen takes g7 becomes a thing. So you can't do both. You can't... This queen has to keep protecting g7 along the 7th rank. But if it keeps itself along the 7th rank, queen e5, queen g7 is going to be a motive. Queen e5 will always force king g5. Which is why we need the bishop on e8, because we need to cover these two squares. Queen e7, queen e5, king g5, oh, queen d6, oh, queen d6, king f6, bishop e8, queen e7, queen e5, king g5. You already answered your own question. Yeah, what am I saying? No, wait a second. Queen e5, king g5, queen f4, king f6, queen h4 you meant. g5, queen h6, oh yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, queen e7 I didn't even mention, but I thought... This should be mate. Although what you're saying is cleaner. Wow, that's amazing. That's very... that's tough. I rejected this because of h4. And then king h2. I know, but that doesn't work because of queen e8. Or maybe it does, but okay. It seems a little bit less clean. Either way, I think I reached somewhere like this. Some point like this. You can always go bishop e5 in these positions. But what you say is the absolute best, it seems. Check. Yeah, this is amazing. This is the engine. Yeah, made in 3. Is that like with queen h4 the only... h4 also works. Okay, well, that was the whole stream. That's insane. I don't want to do another one because I think I already need to get going with stuff. It's already late here in the UK. But thanks everyone who joined, whether it was live or in the VOD. I will probably title this something like... Yeah, I mean it's only one puzzle, so something along the lines of spending 50 minutes for this. Thanks everyone. Hopefully that was somehow, I mean, You use that material as you will. And not sure what I'm not sure what I'm demonstrating here. I don't think anyone should be spending 50 minutes for one single puzzle, but the rating of this puzzle was 29.55. Crazy does the whole stream, yeah. But yeah, I mean, God knows how long it would have taken me to find F3 if it hadn't been because of Viking, so take that into consideration. I think in order to scratch all this bishop e8 stuff, by the way, bishop e8 doesn't work because of queen c7 and queen a7. If it's not because of queen a7 and queen c7, queen a7 I didn't even mention. But if it's not, wait a second, it's only queen c7 now. The engine took a while. I like these positions where the engine takes a while to realize stuff. But yeah, our idea is now working because of queen b2. So we would have found this, by the way, because we knew these ideas. But queen c7 is the whole reason. It's equal. It's very close to working. Very close. But yeah, I mean, king g2, bishop e4 is the only move, and that saves the game. Queen e1, queen c2, queen f, like, yeah, queen c2 is the only move, but good enough. It's very close. It's very close to working. So I think that's part of the trap of the puzzle, that I was lost in bishop e8. So when you get so attached to a move, in order to kind of like throw it away, it's tough. F3 I considered at the very beginning, I remember. I think F3 was within my candidate moves, but it just seems like black has so many ways of escaping that, like, an idea like this, like, that's insane. It's like bishop e4 and I just scratch it. But then queen e6 and I think it's just mate. Like, this bishop coming back to e2 is an important idea. But visually it just looks so, I don't know, it seems like you don't realize how this queen has to keep an eye on this diagonal and then things like that. Thanks, Harbel. Harbelil, sorry. I'll see what I'll do with the editing of this. But yeah, thanks everyone, and hopefully that was something. Not sure what it was, but it was something. But yeah, have a good one. Well, I'll be around on Saturday for another stream.